Hey guys, Brian Wang here with the BW Report. Let's get right to the answer to the question many of you have been asking about after watching my viral exclusive interview with Kurt Panouses, the nation's top lottery attorney. That question: how much does the nation's top lottery attorney actually charge when helping out a lottery jackpot winner? He's represented more than 50 $1 million winners, including the $1 billion winner back in 2021, which was one of Mega Millions' biggest jackpot prizes. Here's your answer. Does he charge a flat hourly fee or a percentage?
Okay, well, I don't do an hourly fee because there's so many things that come up with different clients that it'd just be too hard to manage. In other words, when I get a call from someone, like it's been a couple times where in Florida here, I might get a call at lunchtime on Monday, and I have the system so well documented how to do it over the course of time that I could talk to someone for the very first time on Monday, and by Friday be up in Tallahassee claiming $1 million ticket because I just know the system. I know how to set it up. I know how to contact Tallahassee in advance, but I don't do anything else that whole week. So, I want to make sure that the person that won can get a hold of me. And I don't want to be writing down on a timesheet, oh, I spent 2/10 of an hour with the person. So typically what I do with those smaller dollar amounts, the $1 million to $5 million amounts, maybe $1 to $10 million, is I just tell them, hey, I'm going to be spending at least 20 to 25 hours just putting together, the basic documentation and plan. I'm going to have to budget a whole day of travel. So you're not going to find that I'm going to be charging less than like $18,000 to $20,000, even for $1 million ticket. But as we start getting up there, there's a lot more planning that needs to be done because someone shouldn't just be running to the lottery office to claim the ticket. We should be discussing things. We should be talking about gifting. We should be talking about who's going to be involved. Should it be a trust? Should it be an LLC? Should it be an LLC that we create that engages a trustee of a trust to claim it for the LLC so that there's layers of protection? And all that stuff takes time. So I always give someone a fixed fee amount so they know, but generally it's not going to be less than $20,000 because I know that I'm going to spend at least 30 hours of time putting something together and going with the client for travel. So out of state, a little bit more expensive because I have to make arrangements to travel and fly and stuff like that. But it's always a fixed fee. I tell people, just so that they know for budgeting purposes, that you're likely not going to be spending more than 1% the whole first year with attorneys and CPAs. In other words, I help the person with the claim and I put a team together. Part of that team is going to be, even though I am a CPA, I'm licensed, I don't do the tax returns. I get a firm that does them on a regular basis and they prepare the tax returns. I gather up all the information, get it for them so that they can do it. I review it before the client signs it. So I'm involved with it, but I'm not doing the actual tax documentation work. But I know who to bring in for that work. I make sure that we contact the appropriate financial people. And again, that's a matter of taking a look at the client and saying, hey, are you better off with a big organization like a bank, or are you better off? Do I think you're better off or better suited for a smaller financial group that has like maybe 10 people working with it that, is anonymous and doesn't have all the fanfare of the big marble banks that we see today and, all the granite outside in the big windows and stuff like that. So again, I put that team together. One of the first things we might do with someone that wins a lot of money is talk about generation skipping, because we need to do planning. So I talked about income tax. I talked about gift tax. There's also a generation skipping tax. If you skip a generation, a flat 40% there as well. So you want to do your planning. You want to use your exemptions for that. So I bring in some people that I have a lot of confidence in that do really good work in a place like Delaware, as well as Wyoming, where there's laws that are really efficient for people and they're good laws. So I have to bring those experts in. So again, it's not just Kurt saying, "Hey, sign this claim form here. Let's go," and I'm charging you $30,000. No, it doesn't work that way. It's a plan that gets put together. And these larger ones, I just tell people budget about 1% of the winning amount, just so that you know what it's going to cost to get these other people to come down and do work for you, or for us to set up the meeting for you to have the work done on your behalf. So there's other attorneys, there's financial people, there's tax preparers, and the client may have their own in-house attorney that they may want, or someone they've used for all their life that engaged me. I get those calls as well. It's not just the client calling me up. I get law firms calling me up and saying, "Hey, we've never done this. We need help. You're the person." So again, those people need to be compensated as well. And I just make sure the client knows budget about 1%.
Gotcha. And you know what? If you win 500 million, it's kind of like splitting hairs at the end of the day when we're talking about Kurt's fee, you know?
Well, again, it is a lot, but it is a specialty where there's not a lot of people out there. And again, I tell people all the time, and you have to have someone that has some experience in doing this, that's worked with lottery offices. It's amazing how many times I go to a different state that I've never been to before, and I go there to meet their legal their legal group there. And I go, "Hey, I'm Kurt Panouses. I'm from Florida, but we know exactly who you are." And so they look me up before I even get there. And so, you have to have those relationships with those people in order to help the client as well. And so when you go to the Super Bowl, again, who do you want? Do you want Marcus Mariota, great quarterback? I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback, won a Heisman, but do you want Marcus Mariota, or do you want Tom Brady? One has won at several levels and has won Super Bowls, and who do you want to be your quarterback?
Kurt asked a very important question at the end there, which is, who would you want to be your quarterback? Who would you want to be your attorney if you won the lottery, if you came into millions of dollars? You would want the absolute best, wouldn't you? I know I would. With that kind of money, I don't want to mess anything up along the way. I want the best. So why is he referencing himself as the Tom Brady of this particular industry? Well, I've got you covered on that as well. I sat down with him for an exclusive 1-hour video that has since gotten more than 1 million views. It's gone viral. It covers the tips, the secrets of the lottery, the best free legal advice on exactly what you need to do as soon as you win the lottery. It's a dream. It's a fantasy for a lot of us, but hey, there's nothing wrong with dreaming. And it's fascinating advice. You'd want to know a little bit about his personality. You would want to know about his values. He shares all of that with us in that video. The video link is in the description. All right, now all that aside, you may have heard the Mega Millions back in April, they raised their ticket prices up to $5 from $2 per ticket. So $5 for a single play now. The lottery commissioner said, well, that's for higher jackpot prices. We raised it for higher jackpot prizes. But is that really the case? Think twice on this one. Think 3 times on this one. We get into the behind the scenes politics on this. We get into the competition that's out there, the plausible, likely influences for this ticket to raise in price. It's fascinating. Kurt also joins me for that content as well. Anyways, that video link is in my description too. Thank you for watching this. I'll see you guys soon.